One of the most controversial figures in world politics, Henry Kissinger, died at the age of 100 at his Connecticut home on Wednesday. Kissinger was a diplomatic heavyweight from the US whose policies were equally influential and controversial. He was accused of alleged war crimes for the bombing of Cambodia during the Vietnam War and backing Pakistan's genocide in Bangladesh, among other things. Even old age couldn't stop Kissinger from being active. He made a surprise visit to Beijing to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping in July. The former US Secretary of State under the then President Richard Nixon gravitated towards Pakistan during the 1971 war. The US's goal was to threaten India and prevent a full-scale military attack on West Pakistan. When India eventually liberated East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, and declared a ceasefire, Kissinger told Nixon, "Congratulations, Mr. President, you saved West Pakistan." Kissinger was quite critical of India during the 70s, but had a change of heart later. In the last decade, he had vouched for Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the global stage.
It would be the enormous change in India since I first was here in 1962. And I would say there is an atmosphere of positive achievement, of entering India into the international global system, and of a sense of cooperation between the United States.
Born in Germany in 1923, Kissinger first came to the US in 1938 when his family fled the Nazis. He went on to become one of the leading figures during the Cold War. He was given the Nobel Peace Prize in 1973 for ending American involvement in the Vietnam War. It remains one of the most controversial Nobel Peace Prizes ever. Garnering criticism throughout his life, he continued to exert influence on US foreign policy.
I was very privileged to get his counsel many times, including as recently as about a month ago. He was extraordinarily generous with his wisdom, with his advice. Few people were better students of history. Even fewer people did more to shape history than Henry Kissinger.
In 2005, it was revealed that Kissinger had used derogatory language for Indian people and former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in his conversations with Nixon, later expressing regret for his comments in an interview with NDTV.
This was not a formal conversation. This was somebody letting off steam at the end of a meeting in which both President Nixon and I were emphasizing that we had gone out of our way to treat Mrs. Gandhi very cordially. The language was Nixon language. I regret that these words were used.
Some credited him for shuttle diplomacy. Others called him a war criminal. Kissinger's impact on US foreign policy is unmatched. Kissinger is survived by his wife as well as 2 children. With Vishal Vivek, Bureau Report, NDTV.